everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. Welcome back to my truck. I am in the car right now and I am headed to Lemuria Nursery, which is pretty darn close to my house. It is a wholesale nursery. I love it. The plants there are such fantastic quality because they grow them right here, like, 15 minutes, 10 minutes away from my house. And so they're perfectly acclimated to my weather. So any plant that I've ever bought from Lemuria Nursery has just thrived, has been so very happy. So I am on my way there for my April blooming garden. Yes, I know I'm waiting till the last minute again. I think I did the same thing in March. What it is every month this year, every month I want to plant a plant or a couple plants that are blooming that month. So then next year I can just kind of walk through my garden every month and know that something is going to be in its peak that month. So that's my goal for this year. So it is about the third week of April right now, and I need to get something in. I've kind of been distracted because, I had the event at the Gridley Ace Hardware, and then I had quite a few plant deliveries. So that's been really fun. My plan for April was to use my Proven Winners, I can't remember the name right now, but it's a lilac. It's the reblooming lilac. And hold on, there's a tractor. Country living, right? It's so funny. So where was I? I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, the lilac. So I'd been planning to plant the lilac, but I just got so distracted. I never ended up planting the plant this month. And then I went out today to check on it and it had completely stopped blooming. It was like done with its blooms. So it's still an April blooming plant, but it only bloomed for about three weeks for me. And now it's done. So it was like, okay, well, I can plant this lilac that's not really blooming anymore for my April blooming garden, or I can go to the store and buy new plants. So what do you think I chose? The other thing that I need to get at Lemuria Nursery is I need to get another Breath of Heaven to replace the one that's back by my greenhouse. I am giving up on that plant. Someone said in the comments that now that it's getting hotter, that plant is just going to struggle for the rest of the season, and you're totally right. So I'm expecting to find that, and then I'll see what else is blooming there. They don't have any annuals. It's all perennials and shrubs, so it should be kind of fun to see what's there. Back at home, it is a beautiful day today. It feels so good. The clouds are gorgeous. It's a really, really nice day to be outside. Plus, I had a really successful garden center trip, so I'm very happy. So I really like that place because I feel like they're only going to sell you the plants that do well in your garden, like do well in my garden here. So I feel really, really confident with everything that I'm getting there. So let me show you what I got. First off, here's the Breath of Heaven. This is the Sunset Gold variety. There was the other Breath of Heaven there, which is fine. I definitely don't like it as much as the Sunset Gold. You can see it's starting to bloom. It gets these little pink blooms. This is hardy zones 8 through 11, I want to say. I'll put it on the screen just to make sure I'm right. Yeah, I don't know what happened to mine in the backyard. I'll just have to replace it. But it's nice to see like a fresh, healthy new one. I think I'm going to have to amend the soil a lot more in that backyard, in that area. Then I got 3 of these. This was kind of a impulse purchase, but I just saw these and I miss them. I miss having them in my garden. I had these in my last garden. These are foxtail ferns. I think they're also called Sprenger's asparagus. They're hardy zones 9 through 11, and they are just the best shade plants. They can handle a little bit of sun. There's some places that do. Look at this one. Isn't that interesting? It has scoliosis or something. So there are some places that I've seen around town where they have these in sun, but they do so much better in a little bit of shade. And then finally, my blooming garden for this year is just one of the best plants. As soon as I saw this, I thought, yep, that's going to be it, because April is Homestead Verbena month. I actually remember I made a note in my last garden. I went through and I marked what was blooming each month, so I would kind of know what to prepare for. And on April, it had Homestead Verbena in like all caps. So, Homestead Verbena, it's like, of course that should be my April blooming flower. So this one, I think I've told you all this story before, but it has really, really interesting origin story. So basically there was these 2 guys, Alan Armitage and Michael Durr, who are both friends with Jim Putnam, funny enough. And when Jim came here to visit, he was telling me all the stories about them and all the plants that they found and developed. And then in another conversation, we were talking about our favorite plants, and I mentioned Homestead Verbena, and he was like, oh yeah, Alan and Michael found that plant. And it was like, of course they did. Of course they did. It's such a small world. So basically the 2 guys were like on an outing, and they drove by this homestead, and they basically like slammed on their brakes because they saw this verbena growing on the side of the road, and they went and asked permission to take cuttings. They took cuttings, and it's just been one of the most fantastic verbenas for years and years and years. It has this beautiful, beautiful blue color, like violet blue color. I was reading about it, and apparently there are other verbenas in other colors, and they call themselves Homestead, like a different variety of Homestead, but it's not Homestead. This is the only color of Homestead verbena that you can get, and it is just such a great plant. It's just so fantastic. There's the scientific name right there: 1 foot tall, 3 feet wide, full to partial sun. I feel like I've only grown it in full sun, but I just love it. And my plan is to put it over by my deodar cedar, just kind of surround them. Won't that look beautiful? So everything's starting to grow in really, really well in the orchard garden. Everything is just looking absolutely beautiful. Look at the fig tree. I'm starting to get a lot of blooms. Look at my pink. This is the pink profusion salvia from Proven Winners. I planted them last fall, and they look so full and so beautiful. I have weeds everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. I've actually been doing good from the pomegranate tree, which I pruned up this morning, to more of a tree form. It started growing like suckers on the bottom. I think I actually like the pomegranate tree as long as it's pruned nicely. And I even kind of want to come in and shape it a little bit more. Usually I like things to be more free and kind of, take its own form. But for some reason, the pomegranate tree, I really like it pruned up. I just think it looks neater. So anyway, from the pomegranate tree all the way over, I have weeded, and everything looks nice, and tidy. Oh, excuse Monty. But over here, I haven't done it yet. Ooh, look at this. This is the Boom Chocolata hardy geranium from Proven Winners, and this is only hardy to zone 8, it says. Yeah, no, I'm in zone 9B, and it's looking really, really good, and it's come back, and it's blooming, and I'm really happy with it. So I think I want to plant the homestead verbena kind of all surrounding the deodar cedar. I know the deodar cedar is going to get bigger. I can move it away. I can move the verbena away when I need to. I just think it'll look really pretty with the purple up against the really silvery foliage of the deodar cedar. I just love this plant. It's just tree. It's just so beautiful. I have so much weeding I have to do. I will get on that. And the reason why I have so much right here is look at how thin the chip drop was here. Like you can see the soil basically. So it's basically open soil. So I just got to come in here. I got to weed it. It won't take too long because most of these are, what are they called? Prostrate weeds that are kind of just spread out everywhere. So they look bigger than they actually are. All right, so I'm going to get weeding and then I will get planting my homestead verbena. I think I got 13 of them, I want to say. Like I said, zones 7 through 11, they get 1 foot tall, 3 foot wide. They can take full sun to part sun. Is that what it said? Full sun to part sun. But again, I think that, full to part sun. But I think that full sun, you'll have better blooms. And I do fertilize these kind of like an annual. I fertilize them every week with my other annuals, even though they're a perennial for us. I just kind of consider them an annual, but I leave in the ground. All right, so I got most of this area weeded right up to the daylilies. You can kind of see over there where I stopped. But I got most of this area. And then I laid out the homestead verbena. I spaced them 2 feet apart because I want them to, I really want them to connect, and I want them to just be this big mound around the deodar cedar. It's going to be so pretty. But as I started digging the holes, I think I figured out why I have so many weeds in this area. This soil is incredible. It is so beautiful. It's obviously the compost mixed with the native soil, and it's like butter. It's so beautiful. It's not even butter. That's not the right word for it. What's the right word for it? It's just so beautiful. I love it, and it smells good, and I could not be happier with this. I had planned for my soil, like it was so bad when we first moved in. I had planned for it to be years until it got better. It's been 6 months, you guys. I can't say it enough. I love this no-till method. It is so, so, so incredible. There are some spaces around the property that I haven't done it with. I have not put the 6 inches of compost down and then the wood chips down, and I got to do it. Like by my greenhouse is definitely one spot, closer to the house in this orchard, and parts of the long border. I definitely need to still do that, and I definitely will, but I just couldn't be happier. All right, I think my job is done for today. I got my April blooming garden in. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like much right now. It's going to look beautiful, especially next year. It's going to look absolutely incredible. But with all the weeds I still have to pull, and then I really do not have enough mulch in this area. I have a chip drop request in, so hopefully I can get a delivery very soon. But I can imagine what it's going to look like. It'll look prettier than this, I swear, I promise. You can see the blooms, and one of the reasons why I love the Homestead Verbena so much is the whole plant will be covered in blooms, the entire plant, and it's like electric. You can see it, like I'm going to be able to see it from all the way across the yard. So very excited, and it's going to grow in nicely. And when this guy does get bigger in a couple years, I can obviously move these, so I'm not too worried about that. Another reason why I'm really happy to have the Homestead Verbena is the swallowtail butterflies obviously love it. I always see the tiger swallowtail butterflies. I think they're the tiger. I think that's the variety that's here. That's what I looked up from my town, Davis, and they said tiger swallowtail butterflies. But I seem to always see them on this plant. And then I was looking up what host plants are the tiger swallowtail butterflies, and they said all types of citrus trees are host plants. So what do you know? I got 1, 2, and 3. So they're gonna like that source of food. I already know that they like it, so that makes me feel good because I want more of them. I've been seeing the swallowtail butterflies all over my Super Verbena pink cashmere, all over it. So they obviously like verbena for sure. And honestly, as I'm standing here looking at this salvia, this should be part of my April blooming garden too. Look at how beautiful this salvia is. It's so pretty. I've noticed I keep planting purple in this garden, so I've got to start planting some other colors other than just purple, because I seem to be leaning heavily on purple in my Best for the West garden. So that is it for my April blooming garden this month. I'm very happy with it. Next month, I'm resolved. I'm going to do it by May 15th. May 15th. And if I don't have a video out by May 15th, make sure you all give me a hard time about it, because it's supposed to be mid-month, not the end of the month. What is today? Today's the 24th, so it's not too bad. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.